I absolutely hated. So Carrie can't go anywhere because of the back surgery. So she's at home with her computer. It's the iconic thing of we see her through her window with her little Mac. And instead of writing, she's podcasting via video. We see Che and Bobby Lee on her computer screen just high-fiving, which you don't need to do on a podcast. Carrie's telling the story of when Samantha took her hand, put it up Carrie's vagina, and helped pull out her diaphragm because it got stuck up there. That was a real episode from the original Sex and the City series. And she says, my friend Samantha Jones did this. And then Che just goes, yes, queen, which is like, ah. And Che's like, oh, I like this version of Carrie that's, opening up and saying things. Well, this version of Carrie already wrote about that in her column years ago. Why? You should know that. Charlotte says to Carrie, you said Samantha's name on the podcast and you mentioned that she put her hand up your vagina to get your diaphragm, and Carrie's kind of out of it from the pain meds. And Charlotte's like, I don't know. I think she's going to find out about it. I know she's in London, but it's not like she can't hear about things. And it's like, it's a podcast. It's not live radio. So you could just call them and say, can you bleep out my friend's name? Solved. Like everyone has a moment of like, what do we do about this? It's like, well, since it's a podcast and not live radio, which no one seems to understand on this show, you can edit it out. Samantha doesn't give a fuck. It's not a bad story. It's a great story because she's the only good friend on the show. And also, she's not listening to your podcast. Nobody's listening to it. Miranda is listening to it, giggling like a fool in her kitchen, laughing out loud at Che's jokes. That's it. Miranda listens to the podcast. Samantha's busy in London, okay? She's not like, oh, let me put on a podcast. She's the one that would be like, I don't have time for podcasts. I'm working. I'm getting laid. What are you talking about? I'm not the one who saddled myself with fucking kids. Also, even though I have the free time to listen to a podcast, I'm having the time of my life. And I don't think she'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe Carrie mentioned my name. She'd be like, all press is good press. I did put my hand up her vagina and a few other women's too, but I'll tell you that on my own podcast that I'm never starting because I'm busy getting laid. Carrie texts Samantha to warn her that this is coming out. I can't believe Samantha didn't just text back, new phone, who's this?